Hello, hello, and welcome back. So, we're at the second encounter, the Mast Day 2. We already went through some of the things, and I moved the monster cards over here because since this is always shiny over here, it was probably best to put it over there. We have a new monster, that Gevaldon. I didn't really show the cave sickle before, so here's the. It's not going to focus right because I have a focus on that doesn't stay. There's the cave sickle. And here is the new Juggy with a really long tail. Almost looks like a snake, but it isn't. But yeah, so we have the cave sickle. That's what that's supposed to look like. And the Gavadon. So I had to read up about flanking and water, and because apparently you can't. There's water thing right here, and this is new. You can't dodge while you're in water. I believe there's might be. I think it's that, and you have to take 2 to get out. I think that's how that works. But I'll have to reread it. But yes, a small pond stands between you and the ferocious Gevadon. Your sudden approach must have drawn its attention. The creature near growls in your direction. In the dark, you can hear clicking of cave sickles somewhere in the distance. Hopefully, if nobody gets too close, the cave sickles won't even notice anyone is here until the Gavadon's been killed. Win conditions: defeat, all opponents are defeated. Lose conditions: all defeated. So unlike last time, which was kind of a race, this one is kill. There's also elevation. This is elevation 1, and this is elevation 3. So they're like up here somewhere. So basically, the idea is that they might have to jump down if they're in range. Otherwise, they'll just stay there. This guy, Gavadon, actually has reach of 2, so he can attack 1, 2 from far away, depending on his thing. And he's going to try to dodge every time he's attacked. Each turn, the Gavadon is attacked. Dodge. So, and I read it as a turn where it's Nightingale's turn, then Zeke's turn. So every time they try to attack, he's always going to dodge turn away. Alright, for this special rules, the encounter of the Mast will grade you on your combat performance. So we already have 28 combat performance. I took away all the gold cards I have and put it up. I got 18 gold, and I put it back in here. Alright, so we're basically ready to play. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play combat music instead, because it's all combat based. I also added more games to the music list. Alright, let's see who goes first. It's Zeke, then the Cave Sickles, then Gavadon, Nightingale, Remy, then Rook. Alright, Zeke. How far is Gavadon going to run? You can move and attack and reach it 2, over move, up to reach 2, to the nearest opponent. Make an attack. Huh. I also gave, Zeke has the utility core. If he keeps this equipped the entire time, he gains a consumable of his choice. And I gave him this ubiquitous plank. I discard 1 and I just basically do a free attack on it. He has no armor, so all our throwing knives and that plank is gonna basically go right through him and hit him. There's no roll to hit, from my read, but we'll read it again when we get there. All right, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I can boom, boom. So their opponent adjacent? No. The opponent within reach 2. Can it move and attack the opponent reach 2? Yes. So it moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So anyone over here, well actually right here, you can attack. So let's read about Figures in water may not dodge. It costs 2 movement points to leave the water. Okay, so I was right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can attack here, here. You can attack here, here. So let's have Zeke move. He can attack here and here because he has a reach of 2. So we'll have Zeke move. The move is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to end it there. Alright. Yep. Cave Sickle's turn. They do nothing because they don't see anyone. Gavinon's turn. If it can move and attack within reach of 2, move up to the reach of 2 to the nearest opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he can reach 2 and attack Zeke. Make an attack within the reach 2. Okay, so he's going to attack with reach 2. And his attack is 2 teals. Zach is going to go ahead and dodge. He has no free dodge ability, but he can spend it. So we'll spend 1 action, 1 stamina to dodge. He gets +3 defense. Alright. He rolled poorly. He's at 9. Which does not hit us. So we could counterattack, but we don't have any reach. Alright, then what does he do? Then move up to a reach of 2 from the farthest opponent within movement range. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, which will hit Zeke will hit him. 4, 5. Then she'll try and hit that. So can reach go through line of sight? That doesn't say anything about it. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3, and he's going to do 4, and Zeke's going to have a free attack. So this does not cost us anything. So we have 2 whites for Zeke. Yeah, that's definitely not gonna hit. Wait. First time each turn is attack. So he would have dodged first. So he definitely dodged. Successfully dodge, he gains courage. So he gains a courage. First time each turn it can, it will counter with an attack of 2. So he's going to counter back, counter Zeke. Which is kind of odd. His courage, while making an attack, gain. Ooh, it's going to do a lot of attack. So Zeke dodge. You're going to need to dodge this. So he gets +2. Alright. 3, 5. And then what does he gain? Not repair some physical damage. So it's not going to actually hit us. Thank goodness. So that means if he misses, he discards courage. Whew. Alright, Zeke. You lost all your stamina, but you did good. So he's just going to continue. And then he's going to attack Remy because she's the farthest. Which she can from all the way over here. Alright, Remy, don't you have a free dodge? Yes, you're a cult shirt. And you could counter, but you're not in line of sight. So she's gonna dodge. Doesn't do anything. Alright, so he's gonna attack 2 teals. when making a dodge, you don't roll skull and add one. If you don't roll skull, okay, we did roll skull. All right. 6 and 8. That's not good. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 14. That hits her. That hits her for good damage. 14. So that's 5 damage. Well, plus 1. So it's 13 actually. 13 damage. But 13. So 10. Okay, I'm all over this place. 4, 5, 6. She has a 10, so she only hit for 4 damage. Hits for 4 damage. This gives plus 2 physical. So she has any armor. No. So the armor penetration isn't going to do anything. So that does plus 2 damage. Crap, I lost my numbering. Alright. 14. So it does 4 damage. 6 damage. 7. 8, 9. 9 damage to Remy. That's a lot of damage. Okay, here we go. And that's the end of his turn. Nightingale's turn. He can actually attack. She's gonna discard a Vitality box, Vitality Juice box. You or adjacent ally heals 3. So we get rid of this, and we'll heal 3 off Remy. All set. Hold up a second. Alright, I'm back. Let's go ahead and start the music again. Okay. So, we healed Remy. We're going to go ahead and use her Ambitious to get her, all allies get 1 SP and Nightingale gets plus 2 XP. Oop. Yep, there it is. Use. So she gains 2. Everyone else gains 1. And she can go up and attack him. She'll take. Let's see. How much does it cost? 2? 2 to attack him. So she has 1 purple and 1 orange. And it has to be empowered. Woo! Okay. So 7. Oh, and he tries to dodge. So I got 2 shields and 2 things. To dodge, he gets plus 1 armor. Let's go back. It's bad that we only have 1 black dice. So he gets plus 1, so his defense is 11. 7, 4, 11. I meet it. Alright. So we do damage to him. Okay, so I'm going to do plus 1 damage with that. Or plus 1 magic damage, doesn't matter. So we do 1 damage. Plus 2. Plus 3. Plus 4. So we do 4 damage altogether. So he's not going to try to dodge again, so that's good. So he's going to spend 2 to attack again. He can't dodge this time. Oh no. Yeah, that's yep, that's not happening. We missed. We're going to use MF Fortitude to gain 1 SP. And we're going to use this 2 SP to attack. Oh, that hits. Alright, so he's at 10 defense, so we get plus 2 damage. We get plus 2 damage, plus 4 damage, plus 6 damage, 8, and 9. Is that enough to kill it? There's 4. Yep. Sweet. Oh, she can't do anything. Remy, your turn. Well, the thing is, Remy, I don't really want you to... No, we don't have line of sight over here because they only have line of sight if they're the edge looking up and down, so... I don't want to put her in harm's way either. But let's get her ready. So she's going to go ahead and fly using the 2. She's got the movement of 7. Wait, can she even do that? It needs to be less than more than half. Less damage than half her total health. 6. It only be used if Remy has less damage. Oh, she does have half her. No, she has more health because their items also give her bonus health. So yeah, she can fly. Now, where can the cave sickles attack? Now we need to look about elevation rules. Da-da-da-da. Okay, it doesn't tell me about moving in, on, or out of the elevation. So let's go ahead, look at terrain. 33. Elevation. It's not, there's nothing on 33. There's not even terrain on 33, so... Nope. Guess we'll have to do it manually. Farther back. It's gonna have to be. Yeah, it's not giving me anything on terrain. Okay, here we go. Well, here's terrain types. What about, okay. So flight doesn't have to worry about elevation. Okay. For an elevation of change 2, figures may not move to lower as normally. It's elevation 3 to 1, so that's between 2. May move to the lower without backup. The 3 prevents moving to the higher, and a figure moving to the lower is defeated. So basically, they fall to their death. They go from like 4 to 1. Okay. Awkward, but that's fine. So they would move. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have a reach of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So kind of like over here. So Remy, we're just gonna move you right here. All right. Rook, your turn. First, we're gonna use Mend. So you can't use that. And then we're going to use one of those heal cards. Spend 1 SP. A figure within SOI heals 6, which is exactly what Remy has. 6. And he gets 1 back. It's because he healed someone other than himself. And then we're going to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring him over here. Let's see. How are we going to get ready for this? Oh, we're just going to go ahead and get ready. Alright. Next turn. First it's Rook. Cave Sickles. Alright, that's what I want. This guy's gone. I should never have him out. Alright. Rook, you gain 3, but you only gain 2. You're going to spend 1 to move. Come on. Okay. It's the end of his turn. Cave Sickles. Number 1 goes. Which one's number 1? Red. So, 1, 2, 3. Actually, no. Keep him right here. Because 1, 2, 3. Right here. Because we don't want him up there. Okay. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Well, he'll be right here. 1, 2, 4. Yep. Let's go ahead and put this one right here. There's the action. Alright, so then make a 4 attack. So are there others in the SOI? No, because you can't see those two. There's just 2 whites. We're not going to dodge this one. I think we'll be fine. 7. Does a 7 hit? Nope. Now number 2 goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he has 1, so he has 1, his hive mind, because he's going to boost it. He's going to attack. Do I want to dodge this one? Yeah, we may as well. We have plenty of dodge. That's why I saved him up. Alright, so that gives me 0 dodge. It's all books. 10. Do they have any plus to hit? No. Does a 10 hit? His offense is 9. It barely hits us. If I only had that +1, it would have been fine. Alright. So this one hits, and so you can spend it. +2 damage. That's fine. We can live with 2 damage. Alright, the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Yep, this one's going to attack. This one is upgraded by the others. So, and we're going to spend another stamina to dodge this one too. Skull, nothing. Alright, so this one attacks. 4, 8, ooh, 12. Okay, so we're going to use our Cuirass, just ignore whatever it is. Our Cuirass says per encounter. When you're dealt damage from an attack, ignore all physical damage. We can only do this once per encounter, so bam. It does nothing. Alright, Remy's turn. Remy, you gain 3. You could fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to get an attack of opportunity because she's flying. So that's what we're going to do. Be right here with Remy. You go, girl. Alright, Remy. I can use our throwing knives, but we could just do regular attacks. Oh, I gotta undo your occult shirt. Alright, so you're gonna attack with your war axe. 2 yellows. Do we want to empower this? May as well. Let's empower this. So, let's roll this first. Alright. 6, we're gonna use our hammer helm. You may reroll any dice in your combat first. So we're gonna use that. Reroll this. 4. So it does a 6-10 hit. Yes. It hits by 2. So we're doing 2 damage. And then we do 3 because our passive, the hammer helm. And then we get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's enough to kill it. So she kills it. She still has 2 experience, so she's going to use those last 2 to attack this one. We can't use Hammer Helm again, but we still get that +1 damage. And we can't empower it. Ooh, that's 10. So it gets to do 2 damage. +1. +1 and +1. That's 5 damage. So it doesn't kill him, but does enough damage. So, but he almost did by 1. That's an orange. So what we're gonna do? Go ahead, use one of our throwing knives. So our throwing knives, in order to throw in 30, 33. Throw in. Ability throw allows an invention to deal physical damage to the opponent equal to the listed die in a range of 4 in line of sight. This is not an attack, and no attack roll is made. You simply roll the die and deal the damage. As such, damage cannot be dodged. Lastly, armor still reduces damage in this way. So, he has no armor, so we just have to roll. It doesn't matter what we roll. That's a good 7, but 1 damage kills him outright. Alright, Remy did a great job. Alright, Zeke, your turn. First things first, we're going to exhaust both of your short swords. So move back 1, 2. Then we'll spend 1 to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're going to spend 2 to attack, and we're going to use our last damage to also to empower this attack. So let's go ahead and roll the empower first. Oh, sweet! So we roll 2 yellow, 2 whites. So let's see how much damage. I think we killed it. His defense is 5, 10, 8, so do 2 damage naturally. Then we get 2 more damage, which is 4. 2 more damage is 6, and 2 more damage is 8. So Zeke kills it. And bam! We killed them all. So let's go ahead and pause, stop the music. So yeah. So how much did we get on there? Oh. That's that. Alright. So all of them is defeated. Each square defeat is 5 points. We get 5 plus 3, that's 6, so it's plus 11. So that's 39 points that we got in the grading for now. So let's see what happens when all points meet. We restore adventurers. So we heal everything. Everything gets unexhausted. Rook, you lose your heal token. That's fine. You get healed up. everything's unexhausted. Alright, so let's go to page 12. Poor Dougie. Excuse me, I just have to reply to this. Okay, so come on.
Poor doggy. Remy sighed, forced herself to look at the slain Gavaden. I don't suppose anyone has a shovel. I feel like we should bury it. She couldn't help her wings from drooping a little, no matter how excited the rest of her friends were at their victory. Nightingale rose from where she'd been rinsing her hands in the dark water. I don't think you can dig a grave in a stone floor. I guess, Remy said. I suppose it just reminds me of a dog from back on Earth. I used to have pets back before I came to Middara. Remy turned to follow the group as they left. Yeah? Dogs or cats? Zeke asked, but he kept talking before she could answer him. Cats, right? Yeah, actually. How'd you know? Remy said, surprised. You look like a cat person. I bet you had a dozen, Zeke said, poking her in the shoulder playfully. Remy wasn't sure if he was making fun of her or not, but she replied seriously. Only one, actually. Zeke laughed and lit a cigarette.
She said only one. This is like so different. Alright, so we continue on the second night, page 13. Alright. So we go to the second night. There is no second night. There it is. I don't know why it's looked like it had already been used. Alright, here we go.
The second night. Tonight they had chosen a much smaller chamber off of what they took for the main passageway. It was far smaller than the room they'd chosen the night before, but it only had one entrance, so at least it would be easy to keep watch. Nightingale was put on scouting duty this time. It was nice to have something mindless to do. It was like all the housekeeping she'd done back in her family's little motel on Earth, rocking from room to room with an MP3 player. Pity she hadn't been able to bring it when she had come to Middara. Nightingale happened to be passing by the entrance of a nearby chamber when she caught a flicker of light from beyond the passageway. Hold on, she said out loud to herself, waved, and stepped out into the central hallway.
And here it
Like
says she
much of
draws
the
a
rest
weapon.
of the cave, this shaft was square with faded geometric patterns cut into the floor and walls. She grinned, drawing her weapon. The light was growing quickly, down from a direction they hadn't explored yet. Nightingale gripped her weapon tightly, preparing for a fight. Another few seconds and the light and footsteps resolved into a man, stooped with the weight of a heavy-looking sack. The man's armor was tattered, and he looked like he had just gone through a fight. In the faint light of his glowstone, the thin man looked triumphant. Oh! She lowered the weapon, striding casually into the hallway in front of him. Thought you were a monster. Nah, the man said, pointing back the way he'd come. Our group just killed a tomb guardian back there. The thing was loaded with too much loot for us all to carry. He gave her a smug smile and continued. This is my second trip, actually. Looks like we are doing better than the royalty is. Nightingale's smile faded. Oh, yeah? She said, considering her options.
So we can either extort the man for his extra loot, he was rude and doesn't need it, or we can let the man pass after all he earned it. He might have been a little rude, but we're just not going to take things from him. So we'll step aside, page 13.
Step aside. Nightingale figured she couldn't just take his stuff. The man shoved his way past her, causing her to stumble. The swag's mine, he said with a haughty laugh. Nightingale didn't argue, glaring at his retreating back. It wasn't as though they were supposed to fight the other teams for loot. She grunted, then made her way back to camp.
So, reward. The party gains 5 points on their masks. So, we had 39. Now we have 44. I wonder if we lose Mast if we did the other one. Nope. Alright. Sleep tight. Page 14. Holy crap baskets. This is like 2 pages worth. Sleep tight.
Sleep tight. The little room heated much better than the vast chamber from the night before. And soon enough they were all toasty around the fire. The conversation was less subdued than it had been the night before. Everyone looked significantly more tired. "I'm not really sure what I'll do when I graduate," Rook was saying. "I mean, I couldn't just go back to the farm after spending all this time at the Institute." "What? You don't like farming?" A little cloud floated around Zeke, mingling with the smoke from the fire. He hadn't put down his cigarette since finishing his meal. Rook shrugged. "Nothing wrong with farming. My parents are good people and they do important work, but..." He paused. "We're not getting older anymore. And I'm no Cincinnatus. I think if I had to stay on a farm for eternity, I'd go insane. My idea of Elysium is a little less pastoral and more actually doing something." Nightingale chuckled and nodded, even though she had no idea who Cincinnatus was. "Well, I've got a suggestion," she grinned, resting one hand on the weapon at her side. "When I graduate, I'm going to join the Demiurge. You know, Elenia's special forces. Every day's an adventure after that. Why don't you join too?" Her smile widened. "I've got a friend who's already in. I'm sure he could put in a good word for you,
Rufus is a
with
guy.
the way you fight." "We'll see," Rook said dismissively. "My parents are expecting me to help out on the farm." "Farming is so lame," Nightingale said, tossing her legs up onto a nearby rock. "We all have our roles," Rook said flatly. There were a few moments of silence then, as each waited for the others to speak. Nightingale turned slowly to look at Remy. "What about you? What are you going to do with your shiny new citizenship? You're the only one without familial expectations, right?" Remy looked away, shifting uncomfortably. I don't really know." They waited, but Remy didn't elaborate. "We shouldn't give up adventuring after this." Nightingale tried to look as reassuring as she could. "If we're here, we might as well enjoy Middara's advantages. We could live forever exploring ancient..."
Hold up. Alright. I think he calmed down now. I think he might have a Mauler coming in, so hopefully it won't be anytime soon. Let's continue.
"Ruins, rescuing artifacts of unimaginable power, saving the world." Zeke looked doubtful. "Can't live forever if you get eaten by monsters." "Like that would happen." Nightingale raised her twig-like arms and flexed. "Have you seen these guns?" "Yeah, we'll see." Zeke rolled his eyes. "There's still one more day left in the mast. Plenty of time to find something big and hungry enough. They'd probably have to eat 5 of you to fill up, though." "Or 1 rook," Nightingale smiled. Rest came easier the second night, though Nightingale awoke a little sore from all the walking and fighting. They didn't stay long. Another breakfast of trail rations, and it was back to the cave for their last day of the mast. It was a little annoying how their travel distance each day was restricted, bookended with impassable hallways and convenient campsites. Even less faithful to adventuring was the regular presence of the bellicose cubes. Nightingale doubted very much that she would ever see one in any of Elenia's ruins. She couldn't wait for the next fight, but there was no bellicose cube as they proceeded. Confused, Nightingale glanced around the cavernous chamber. "That's strange." Nightingale kept walking forward. "I don't see a bellicose cube. You think we're almost done? I was really hoping to fight a couple more monsters before we finished." "That shouldn't be the case," Rook replied. "They didn't want any of us to get seriously hurt." Nightingale skipped further into the darkness. If Rook was right, there had to be another bellicose cube nearby. Behind her, Rook stooped and studied the ruined remains of a silver basin. He scowled and looked back up. "We'd better be careful. It looks like something happened to the cube. I doubt that the proctors would have intended this to happen." As he said this, Nightingale screamed. Rook spun around to see her being charged by a huge stone monster. It hit Nightingale with a boulder-like fist, sending her sprawling near a treacherous gap in the cavern's floor. The creature advanced on her, threatening to crush her beneath its massive weight. Nightingale held her weapon up in a vain attempt to block it, but it was futile. "Nightingale!" Rook yelled as he darted across the room, his huge frame pounding with desperate fury as he rammed into the creature. He knocked it aside moments before its massive stone arms came down on Nightingale. Rook pulled at Nightingale's shirt, yanking her to her feet as the monster began to rise again. "Run! We can't fight this without a bellicose cube!" Rook turned and the group sprinted into darkness. Eventually they came to a stop, panting heavily and hoping they were safe. "Oh boy," Nightingale said, shaking her hands to wash away the adrenaline coursing through her. "That was exhilarating!" "Exhilarating?" Remy caught up to them nearby, recuperating from the sprint. "You almost got turned into a Nightingale pancake." Nightingale nodded and looked back the way they had run from. "What was that thing anyway?" "I think it was an Earth Loa. It was either not supposed to be here, or perhaps they planned on us having that bellicose cube intact. In either case, we're okay now," Rook grumbled. Nightingale burst out laughing and turned to Rook. "You just saved a princess in distress! So cliché!" "I guess I did," Rook said, smiling. "I'm glad you're all right." "Thanks to you." Nightingale walked up beside him and her hand shook a little as she slapped him on the back. "I should have noticed that wasn't just a pile of rocks." Rook relaxed. "No big deal. That's why you never adventure alone, right?" Nightingale smelled tobacco a few seconds before Zeke stepped up behind her and gave her a look of relief. "Good work. Let's make sure nothing like that happens again, though." Nightingale nodded and the group made their way back into the dark. They continued on for what felt like hours. Nightingale purposely stayed at the front, determined to prove she wasn't afraid, even after the close call with the Earth Loa. Eventually she heard something strange coming from up ahead. "Hey, I hear voices!" Nightingale couldn't keep her tail from swinging about behind her in excitement as she skipped forward. Remy kept up, her weapon held close. "You think we made it to the end?" Rook's voice came from behind her, sounding matter-of-fact. "Not yet. That isn't how the Mast works. Every team has got to go through the gauntlet, and we haven't seen it yet." "Oh," she blushed, wings drooping as she slowed a little, falling behind the rest of the team. The room was quite large, at least 50 feet across. Other teams milled about in nervous-looking groups, keeping mostly to themselves. Zeke pointed towards the front of the room where a group of uniformed proctors waited by the door. "Let's see what's up," he muttered, striding purposefully towards the front of the room. Some of the other students looked like they'd done worse than their team had. There were lots of little wounds and hasty bandages, but also breaks and untreated gashes and tears. One young man kept himself standing only with the aid of a makeshift splint and walking stick, while another group had one of its members resting between them badly wounded. "Guess we did pretty okay after all," Nightingale found herself thinking, following just behind Zeke. The men standing by the door all nodded respectfully to them. "Lord Zhong, Princess Arson," a spindly proctor with white hair stepped forward to address them. "Glad you made it." "What's going on?" Zeke gestured behind them at the crowd. The proctor lowered his head deferentially. "You've reached the gauntlet, the last stage of the Mast. Each team must survive a game section of the dungeon, so you're sent through one at a time. If you'd like your team moved ahead in the queue..." "No!" Zeke and Nightingale answered together in the same exasperated tone. Zeke was the one who continued. "We'll wait our turn with everyone else." "As you wish, my lord. We'll call for you when it's time." They left without another word, quickly finding Rook through the crowd. "You were right," Zeke grumbled. "It's the gauntlet." Rook nodded, satisfied. "It was in the study guide." "What exactly is a gauntlet? I guess they don't expect us all to share a glove," Remy asked,
Really?
chuckling to herself. Nobody laughed, though it was Rook who answered. "It's different for every graduating class, so it's hard to be sure. It's the thing they wanted us to be prepared for most, in case some of the groups were really clever or lucky. The gauntlet is the same for everyone, so every graduate will be ready for..." He shrugged. "Whatever. It's usually the hardest part." "After what we've been through?" Nightingale gave Remy an encouraging pat. "I'm sure it'll be nothing. We've got this. 2 years of lectures, 2 years of weapons practice and learning magic." She looked up as the heavy oak door opened and another team was ushered inside. "That's our ticket to the outside world. To citizenship. To the demiurge," she muttered to herself privately. Eventually, the white-haired proctor approached them. "If you're ready," he said, his voice as deferential as before. "It's time." The crowd was mostly gone, leaving only the most injured groups behind. "We're ready," Nightingale answered before any of the others could object. "Let's do this."
Okay. continue on the Gauntlet Part 1. So, I'll go ahead and set this up, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.